everybody, this is Anthony. We would have had it last week, but some technical difficulties on my end, and this time around it works. Podcast. Joining me tonight, we have Charmy,
Hi.
and we have.
Hello.
Hey, I didn't forget. Awesome.
You remember the sign?
Yes, I'm not an old man, not yet at least. It happened last weekend ago. So, first question to both of you is,
So I think, Charmy, you didn't go to the Kraken Con from last time. You didn't go to the USS Hornet one, did you?
No, I didn't.
The one on the USS Hornet. So, unlike that one, we're back at the normal Oakland Convention Center. We're back on ground Hornet was to be on like a new scene for a convention. It was nice to be back in a convention center with like accessible mobility, normal about how you're gonna get anywhere if you're in a wheelchair. So it was nice to be back on back at the convention center. So, yeah.
Awesome. I think it was at a ship, and this time it's back on land. So one of the things that I think that attendance-wise, recently the numbers came out around 3,500, if I'm correct, which was a massive improvement from, I would say last year's.
Bless you.
Insight.
Oh, you heard that?
Yeah. The fact that it is growing I'm gonna say very fast in terms of attendance wise, and like I've heard nothing but good things about the guys. What was some of the things were you able to check out at Kraken Con this year? Not everybody at once.
So me, I was only able to attend on the Saturday. Charlie was able to go for the full weekend, I think. At any convention that I've been able to do press at, they had this really cool intro panel for people who are on press, and also had VIP of the guests of honor at the con. And apparently, since con goers don't like to wake up early, it was pretty much just so we got kind of more or less a private interview with 3 of the main guests at Kraken Con this year, and they were Karen Strassman, who is the English voice actress for Soifon from Bleach. So that was really cool. And then I also got to meet Carrie Karanen, who is the English, and personally my favorite guest that I got to meet that I didn't even know I was going to be able to meet was Michaela Dietz, who is the voice actress for Amethyst from the Super. Asked them some questions. I don't want to spoil anything because I'm going to put the, once I can get a mini SD card adapter for my computer together, splice them together, make them all nice and pretty so that everyone on Mission Start Podcast can see those, because we got some really cool footage for that. So that was awesome.
Awesome. Oh my God, this is so-and-so from this anime or from this show, holy crap. And then like another part of you is like, I must act.
Where she was like, she's for Michaela Dietz, she's just really chill. She's really cool. She's like, not that I didn't expect her to be super chill. She's like, I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. I'm like, you're so cute.
Wow, that's cute. That's that. I always ask these questions regarding other conventions we've been to, but like in the case of Charmy, with some of the cosplayers and attendees, what was the general atmosphere at Kraken Con with some of the attendees?
Everybody when you go to bigger conventions like anime, everybody's so intense, and there's like photographers everywhere, regular attendees, and not so much about how many pictures can you get in your cosplay.
So I think that the follow-up question for me then is, and it's also for you, Katsutan, is like how was the crowd? Was it pretty manageable for you guys to maneuver within the convention center, or was it like any given point?
It's a pretty like you said, it's still a pretty small convention. It's a pretty chill convention. Moving room for the dealer's hall, pretty like Anime Expo, where you really can't move anywhere without like sharing body heat with someone and like feeling them breathe down your neck. So going to hang out with people, there wasn't really any area that was overpopulated. Even like registration area, super chill, no super.
Same. Your thoughts the same, Charmy?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. As far as I know, like it's still in the same place as it was in prior years in downtown Oakland in that convention center or in that hotel. Actually, they will have to move or maybe expand. Cause isn't there more room in that hotel that they can use?
From the setup that they used this year, they used the bottom. So yeah, they used the bottom floor, the whole bottom floor, which is like the main ballroom, and then a hotel that they can still utilize, but they're utilizing a good amount of space right now. If there isn't more space in the hotel, then I would see possibly in the 2017 year if they decided to. There's no announcement for it, but yeah, I could see them expanding.
In general, for most conventions, grow, um, like as years goes on, move on to either a bigger venue or they, expand the. Technically, that third year of this convention, yeah, it has grown pretty far up in attendance already at this pace. The young and upcoming conventions to look out for, if anything,
Hmm.
I think in like another like couple years, it may get to like attendees.
That would be really cool. Yeah, because they've definitely been growing so quickly, and the convention's so cool, and they're so unique in what they do with their convention. People look forward to in the Bay Area because I really enjoy it. It's like my home con, so I have a good time at it.
Mm-hmm. One of the what was the general format of the inside the convention center? Was it the same as the last time where everything was all one big room, or was it the?
It was more, everything was in one room, except for like panels and everything, like all the main the exhibit hall, and I think they actually like made it more compact. I think the word rooms.
Okay. Um, the interesting thing about this convention, because one room is, I generally think of like WonderCon, Comic Con,
Yeah.
and comic conventions, and that's kind of how they stylize everything in terms and whatnot. And usually anime conventions, it's usually very much divided. You have a dealers hall, you have an artist alley, you have a video game room, and just for this one is rather interesting. But somehow, like, I've heard nothing but good stuff from the way it's formatted. Where there was like any noise, like I won't say complaints, but like any noise problems where like if you're screaming and yelling like on a stage, like they ever came to that point or.
No, I don't think it ever did. Sally Dealer's Hall in the middle of this very, very large open room, and then they had the gaming section over on the other side, so, the like anime viewing area.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow, even though all those three things were close together, I didn't ever really notice any. And then on the entire opposite corner, they had the rock band stage. So since they put those two things completely separate from each other, it didn't distract from main events, didn't distract from rock band, and rock band didn't distract from main events. So that was good. From previous years, they used to have this, but they didn't have it this year, which
I
is
see.
disappointing to some people. I have a friend who works in the Mid Cafe, but they did.
Gotcha. Okay, so the main cafe wasn't there, but they used that space for. So was that space then like the rock band space?
Rock band space because I don't know what they would have replaced it with. But that's one thing that they didn't have before, and now they didn't have the Maid Cafe this time.
All right, that's cool. No, it totally makes sense. I remember when I was there, like they had the with, and at the same time like music games like in this one small area where people were running into each other and trying to dance on screen. But that's cool, and I totally makes sense. I was kind of curious first, like because like the way it was formatted doesn't really affect anything else. Um, in terms of, and this is something that I think that it's essential. What was generally your go-to food places when you went to Kraken Con?
For
I
me,
like
oh, go ahead.
panels and just like mainly just like the hallways, just exploring all of the cosplays that people worked on. And main go-to place is the exhibit hall where they sell the Arpaxo dolls. There's so many stores that sell them now, but yeah, I like to collect them. So
Hmm.
whatever store.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab whatever is in this place and eat it later.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it is like cosplay food.
Whatever's nearby, whatever I
Yeah,
can put my mouth on.
yeah, pretty much. Kazakhstan. Well,
To the area, I spend a lot of time downtown, so like I'm pretty familiar with any place that surrounds the convention center. For me, when it comes to because I know cosplayers have the same problem or tend to be, especially if you're wearing very heavy makeup or if you're wearing a costume that's very hard to move in. There's a really good sandwich place downtown called Ike's Sandwiches, and their sandwiches are awesome. And yeah, I always get one of those, usually after time to wind down after you like had a con day. Sit down with a huge like chicken sandwich and just like, yeah, this was a good day.
Can I tell you how many times I had issues trying to eat food in cosplay and like having somebody feed me? It's like,
Yeah,
I beg you, I
yeah,
can't move my arm.
yeah.
That's cool though. That's pretty awesome. At Kraken Con.
I really liked this girl. Her name is Jedi Moon, with the Jedi, and it was really cute and really creative and original.
And her craftsmanship was
Awesome. It's quite fitting for this year that Star Wars is
mhm.
one of the most popular things. I might have saw a picture of that actually online
Yeah,
recently
she's
too.
all over the place. It's really super cool. I think she won something at the cosplay. That makes sense.
Nice, awesome. Kazu-san, what was like the general cosplay that stood out to you?
To see the weirdest costumes, and not weird in a bad way, never weird in a bad way, but weird in like the best way possible. Because you typically go to the same character at least 20 times,
Mm-hmm.
and so at Kraken Con, there's always this specific cosplayer that I can never remember their group name, but this character's from the Muppets. They've also done a Beetlejuice group, and this year one of their members did Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast. And then I was like, how did they even make this? So I recently went on their Facebook page, and apparently they made it like 3 days before the convention, entirely out of Abe. He's such a genius.
That is crazy. That is like, man, if you take like the five, that's what you get.
You're like, I'm gonna make this. Why would you even think about doing that? Like, that's so cool.
It's like, oh man, I can.
It was so cool. I was like, wow, you're cosplaying Cogsworth. I would have never thought of doing that. That's the most cool, amazing thing I've.
Don't do the last minute, but yeah, it's pretty sick.
Don't do it last minute. Says every cosplayer ever to every other cosplayer, and we all end up doing the same thing.
For Fanime, it's like a couple weeks away.
You're not last minute yet. You're ahead of the game at this point.
That's true. That's true. I love kind of creative original cosplays that people do that isn't typically like the norm of like a particular accurate character.
Yeah, but it's super recognizable, and you're like, what the? Why would you do that? That's so cool.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Um, for this cosplay contest, like offer a good wad of cash.
Yes, they do.
Uh, so I believe this year was it 500? Who won the cosplay contest for this year's Kraken Con? Just out of curiosity.
The R2D2.
I
Yeah.
saw that. That was so cool. The R2D2 Doctor.
Nice.
No, but it was super cool because I saw that thing. I didn't realize that, but they made it so that there were lights on the bottom, and then when you walked with it, it looked like it was
Really cool. Wow, that is sick. Uh,
Mhm.
awesome, awesome. The interesting thing about prize money for the cosplay contest, rarely you have some. I know AOD does it every so often, and Kraken Con as well out of it. And yeah, no, it's the dialect or the not dialect, the Dalek
pretty
costume.
much invested to make the costume, but I mean it's something.
I love the fact that like they might have won $500. It might have cost the same outside of the
Yeah, you're
area.
traveling, all that expenses.
Yeah, so it's like it's nothing to scoff at. Now, if you're like local, it's for paying everything I just got in with.
I know. I mean,
Uh,
no one does it for the money though. I don't know any cosplay that's like, I cosplay for the money.
because we spent a lot of it already on it as it is. So it's back to the task at hand. Um, so it was only for 2 days. So is there it's happening like at late at night?
Yeah, this is the first Kraken Con I think where they actually had like a nightlife scene. But typically the past years, I think Kraken Con usually shuts down around 7, which is about when the cosplay contest ends.
Hmm.
But this does too, which was like they had a like formal ball like we kind of see at bigger conventions. Like I think Sakura Con has a formal. People have a good time at those, and then they also implemented late night karaoke, which I think went from 8 p.m., possibly a little bit early. Typical dealers hall usually closes around 6, but there's still a lot more to do after it closes.
Gotcha. Okay. I kind of wondering if they're gonna dabble into that more and they start to get more attendees and whatnot. So that's cool. I think that for this convention, I think it's fun. Where they can really expand it to like late hours, but
Mhm.
I think I can see them doing it in due time for sure. But, oh man, I'm already running out of questions. So so for the full pass wasn't too bad, correct?
Yeah, I have it pulled up right here.
Cool.
Attendee registration. Yeah, $2 for the full weekend.
Mhm.
And then kids, like most convention, kids under the age of 10 accompanied by an adult was free. And then if you were for the 2 day registration at the door was $40. Saturday only badge was 25, and then the Sunday only badge was $20 as well.
Okay. For a weekend like that, that's cool. I mean, that it makes total sense regarding the pricing of the weekend. Now I think about it. Um, you conduct the interviews with some of the cosplayers and attendees there. How did that go?
I was so high up, and I'm like, wow, I see these people, on Facebook and Instagram, and I was just like, wow. But once I talked to them, they were all very humble and, very nice and calming. When you're interviewing, you have to be, pretty comfortable with who you're interviewing, and yeah,
Any notable people that you interviewed that kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, I interviewed Dominique Del armor prop maker, and she's only been cosplaying for 3 years, and her cosplays are already like so amazing, awesome. And then I met Heza-chan, and she's amazing too. She's been in the game. Days are like perfect. Like I saw her Chibi Moon from Sailor Moon cosplay, and it was like it was just so perfect. Like all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can definitely I've seen some of her work before. She's an amazing cosplayer.
On Instagram. I was like, oh my god. I was like, ah. And then I walked past her. She's like, I saw your costume on Instagram. I was like,
Right. That like is like the ultimate compliment.
oh god.
It's the funny thing is so here I noticed the senpais for Kraken Con. I was gonna be there, but I just kind of looked up, what they were offering, who's gonna be the cosplay from. So it's
What?
like, yeah, so it's like, oh, so I asked her, I was like, so if I went up to you and asked you about a cosplay question, do I do it for you as my son? No, you don't have to do that, you idiot. No, it's just, no, it's cool. I think the whole idea of having people out there just like give advice about cosplay and whatnot. It's like, hey, you could do this with like phone and whatnot. It's like, oh, that's awesome.
Be the worst cosplay senpai because it'd be like, drink 7 monsters and do it all the night before. Terrible advice.
Oh wow. Well, I'd be like, well, want some advice? Well, just
You ain't getting it from me.
stay at home, work on your cosplay. I'd be awful as a senpai. I'd just be awful at it. But that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. And those interviews,
Yes. Yes.
awesome, good stuff. Well, cannot wait to see it. So, like, how was the staff at Kraken Con this year?
I actually got sick at Kraken Con to the point of me.
Hmm.
So, one of the staff noticed that I wasn't feeling good, and they offered me a seat. If it was like any other con, like AX, they would have ignored me because they ignore everybody. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Okay, no, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Was the same.
I staffed my first year that I attended Kraken Con back in spring 2014, so that was like 2 years ago now. Wow. So I actually know some of the staff personal members. There's an older lady who's always been there. I've met the two people who founded Kraken Con, who I think worked, and they're all very, very nice people. They run this convention because they like to. They run this convention because as con goers, they want to see really nice people. They all take care of their attendees. Like, and I feel like the Kraken Con staff is kind of like one big family. It's really cool. People.
Nice, awesome. Glad to hear. So my last question to you guys would be some of the good points of Kraken Con. What were some things that Kraken Con could potentially improve upon for next year?
I think one thing I really liked was, the calm atmosphere and have the main events, in the gaming room back into, different rooms. Because when you were in the main event and you exhibit hall, so I wish that they would keep those separate.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right.
Kraken Con's honestly one of my favorite conventions that I go to twice a year. I really love watching it grow as someone who's been going to it for basically since it's a convention. They always bring different kinds of events that you don't typically see at conventions. I mean, just the whole concept that they had it on a boat once is super cool, and keep expanding ways to keep making their convention different from other places. The only like very small like con like they can probably do a little better with it. They've started holding cosplay gatherings, but I honestly have no idea where they were. There was
uh,
apparently supposed to be a like con gathering. Am I the only con collector? So yeah, it would possibly if they wanted to do cosplay gatherings, I feel like they should organize that a little bit better because there were gatherings. I think I don't know
Yeah.
where they were, but they were there.
Nice.
Always doing their best, and they always just keep improving what they can improve on every year. So maybe next year I'll know where the gatherings are.
Right, for sure, for sure. I mean, tonight on this Conover podcast type to talk about everything Kraken Con. Before we end the show,
On Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kazutan, Kaswtan.
awesome, awesome.
Find me at my Facebook page at Ultramaniac CC and my
Awesome, awesome. You can follow me personally on Twitter at Defective Naruto. You can follow the work that we all do. This podcast will be up in the podcast section of the site as well as iTunes and Stitcher. So definitely check out that if you haven't. So yeah, with that, this would be another episode. Our me, Ramen, and Jesse's thoughts on BabsCon and how that all went down. So, I am Anthony, and this has been another episode of Econ Over.